Nothing says Stalker like 125 gig.
I can't believe that screenshot you shared on Blue Sky. I was just like, bro, that can't be real. What do you? How is this game so big? What are you doing?
Yeah. So like, I was like, fucking Jesus. Okay, what am I gonna do here? So I moved a bunch of shit to my external hard drive. So now half of my external hard drive is game logos with the little arrows next to it, meaning that I need to put it on my other drive to play
right.
it. And then deleted a bunch of stuff that I spot the lie. I will play eventually.
Wink.
I mean, one day we'll retire.
Yeah.
Maybe.
When we retire, we're going to be driving through the wasteland trying to find gas. Like
Hey, that's not fair. Gas and water.
Thank you.
No, the way you get your
preparation.
water is to siphon it from the gas.
That's true.
Oh, fuck.
All right.
I know, I didn't watch anything, did I? I watched a little bit of H-Bomber Guy's vaccination video after our talk yesterday, Boston.
Yeah, before we started recording
how fucking hilariously funny that guy is.
The 2 Game Club episodes, we were talking about, through like a circuitous route, we eventually got to talking about H-Bomber Guy, and Musim hadn't heard about him, and both of us were like, I don't want you to check out I don't want you to search anything. I've sent you a link to the Roblox Oof video. Watch that first. Don't look about anything about it. It's like an hour and a half or long or whatever. After that, watch the plagiarism one. If you want to watch anything else of his after that, that's great. You have to do those 2 first in order. And like, don't go into them knowing anything, especially the Roblox one.
Yep.
All right. Are you guys ready to get started?
I guess. Sure.
All right.
I don't even have the show notes open.
That's all right. That comes later. All right. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast, aka TVGP. I'm your host, Boston, and joining me as always is Moonpeer.
Bonjour. Hello. Guten Tag.
And the Nymph.
Hello.
Quick production note here. We have a couple of production notes here at the beginning. Number 1 is we have a brand new Game Club episode out right now for Life is Strange Double Exposure. The recently released Life is Strange Double Exposure.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. We spoil every Life is Strange game. So if there are a couple in there that you haven't quite gotten to yet, I want to finish those out before you listen to that episode. And if you're wondering like, oh, they just talk around, no.
Absolutely not.
No, we spoil the big spoiler parts of literally every single game. I mean, we even talk about Captain Spirit. We hit all of them. So like, you gotta.
And we even fantasy booked our own sequels.
That's true. We did. Yeah. So if you want to hear,
I'm sure you guys talked about the hamster. Yeah.
Pardon? No. I'm not.
See, you didn't hit all the spoilers then.
That's true. So that's up. Please go give that a listen. It's a 5-star runtime for Game Club for sure, because we had a lot to talk about for a game that we felt a lot of feelings about. And since that's our 11th game this year, next month when December rolls around, we're going to do the Game Club of the Year episode again, where we sort of rank and rate. Well, we just rank all 11 games we played. So that'll be coming next month after that. Our next game for January is going to be Gris, Gris, that game. So we're going to play that.
Oh, I feel so old when you say January, and I realize it's 2025.
Uh-huh. Yep. Time keeps on ticking, I've heard. So go check that out. I think those 2 episodes turned out really nicely. Did want to mention here, though, at the beginning of our sort of sales pitch for patreon.com/E1M1.
Ones and numbers.
We're going to have an open house for the month of December, we're going to do for free on that site and probably in the feed, I guess. But anyways, if you've never heard any of our stuff from Patreon, if you wanted to get kind of a sample of a bunch of the exclusive and uncensored shows, you can go over there during the entire month. We'll have 3 episodes out for the month for free for everybody. Even if you're not even signed up, it should just show up on that page. We're going to have an episode of The Outcast, where we accidentally run into Moon running a game show between the nymph and myself. I won't spoil what it's for. It makes me very mad for the entirety of it. It's really good. We have an episode of Critical Misses production meeting. That's going to be probably one of the more left turn ones we take. So if you want to get a really good idea of how that show can continually go season over season, and check that out. And then we'll have an episode, season 2, episode 15 of The Wayward Sons. So we're going to have that. So you get one episode from, it just turned out that it was one from each one is from this past year. So you'll get one from this most recent year. I apologize in advance for people that aren't able to get on Patreon for a myriad of reasons. I can't put these episodes in the public feed that you're listening to here. They're all
swearing.
way too explicit, and with how many places we have the show appearing, like those of you on our captive audience, I can't put those in there and risk us having the podcast get pulled out of places like that. So I do apologize.
Because once you're explicit, you're always explicit.
That's right. And if you're a clean show like us, you can't be explicit because
Yes.
they'll just pull it down. So I do really apologize. I wish there was a way for me to do something around that. There just realistically isn't. So all of that stuff during the month of December, especially as we kind of take a break from some of our stuff here over the break, which we'll talk about in the upcoming weeks. Wanted to give everybody, especially people that are interested in the Patreon, but maybe don't want to toss a couple bucks our way, $5, let's say, just to check it out.
It's fun.
Yeah. Now you can check it out here on our open house. So it'll be for that whole month, and then once January rolls around, I'll pull that stuff back off. So
Consider additional content for the holidays if you struggle with the holidays. Let
That's
us take you through those seasons.
Yes, exactly.
Laughter and swearing.
That's right. Anger and swearing. That's what we got. So, like our usual, the $5 tier, as we recommended, Fun for Fiverr. That's the recommended tier. That gets you everything: Critical Misses, the exclusive uncensored Outcast, early access to both Critical Misses and We Really Like It, and exclusive access to The Wayward Sons, the Supernatural TV show Watchcast. All of that. Patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones are numbers, the digit 1.
Yeah. Moon, what have you been playing this past week?
Absolutely nothing, he says jokingly, semi-not jokingly. I mean, honestly, a lot of this week was Life is Strange.
Yeah, ditto.
Trying to
A lot
wrap
of
that thing up for the game club was difficult.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone, host-wise, for understanding the delay. That my subtle message in the host channel of I can push it a week if you guys wanted to. Wink.
Yeah, Moon posts like a message in our channel. It was basically like, hey, how's everyone doing with the Life is Strange here? How's that going? If we wanted to, just tossing it out there, if we wanted to like push it, I'm not saying we have to, but we could. And I was just like, yeah, I need that. We need to.
Yep.
We really need to push this because there's no way I'm going to be able to do this. So
It was the classic people being too polite thing, because none of us are gonna come out and say, I need to push it a week
I'm
unless you're
struggling,
given
bro.
permission by somebody suggesting it to be done.
Yep.
But I'm glad we did, because it actually meant I finished the game for the episode.
Well, I knew I was in trouble because I spent, you go through the end of the first chapter, and I was like, oh man, I'm doing well. I have to be a couple of chapters in. This game is great. Usually they have like a end of the first chapter cliffhanger, and it was basically like end of first chapter, 4 hours. I was like, oh, I'm in trouble.
Yep.
I'm this.
Yep.
This is not gonna work. Yeah, I needed to delay this really badly. Yikes.
So yeah, go listen to the Game Club episode on that. And again, it is spoilers everywhere
For everything. Yeah.
So be warned
Yes.
in advance.
Yeah.
Just in case you needed to know.
Yeah.
I started, and I only put about like 15 minutes into it so far, but I started Mad Streets.
Mad Streets.
Which just hit Game Pass recently. It is the physics-based games like that game and Gang Beasts and that kind of stuff?
Oh, like Human Fall Flat and stuff like that.
Yes.
Okay.
It's that, but it's a fighting game. And an arena fight game.
Okay, sure.
It's interesting. I will say, like, it feels like Street Fighter when it loads up. It's stupid and hilarious in the funniest ways. I just needed something to play that I wasn't thinking about, and it worked out pretty nicely that this was the thing to do that with.
When a new beat 'em up comes out, and you're like, "Yep, I'll play a lightly licensed beat 'em up for an hour." Sure.
100%. You want to give me fake Guile? I will happily play as fake Guile.
Right.
Or File, as he's now named.
Of course.
He's really good at getting out of prison. I don't know. It's fine so far. Like, the controls are, as with all of these games, a little wishy-washy. Little honkers-bonkers. I hate you, by the way, because that has been stuck in my head for like 3 weeks now, because you keep saying it at least once an episode.
I never say honkers bonkers. I don't know what you're talking about. That would be honkers bonkers.
Go check out the Game Club
I
episode.
started saying it here at home just a little bit, just to kind of test the waters. It's the right amount of annoyance I get back from my family.
It's the right amount of annoyance and stupidity.
Yeah. You literally said it, I'm pretty sure, in both recordings for Game Club, by the way.
It's likely.
So, Mad Streets is fine. It's on Game Pass, whatever. Play it, don't play it, whatever. We Heart Katamari. I am 4 achievements away from the completion of We Heart Katamari.
Nice.
None of those achievements are the cousin achievement, because I got that today.
Wow, nice.
After watching a video on how to get all of the cousins I missed, which, ironically enough, was recorded before this game came out, using the PlayStation 2 version of the game.
Oh, cool. Okay, interesting.
So the cousins have different names in some cases, because some have been tweaked for cultural sensitivity issues.
Sure.
But it's like, hey, here's all the cousins. I recorded this on the PlayStation version. The new one comes out in like 3 weeks, and it's got an achievement in for this. So here you go. So I used that, and it worked like a charm.
I like the bold pronouncement of like, it'll be the same. What are they going to do to Katamari? It's going to be the same.
Literally the same.
Yeah.
Same places, same everything, just slightly different names.
Love it.
They filed off the serial numbers of those specific people.
Exactly.
It's whatever. It's my go-to. Like, I just don't want to think kind of thing. And I'm getting to the end, which is why I'm looking for different don't want to think games. Hence, Mad Streets.
Sure.
I need to fill a bowl full of junk-sized hole in my heart.
And I mean, especially as the year gets later, and the requirements for socialization get higher, you need something to recharge those batteries. Because I feel like, for me, I'm okay doing a little bit of socialization, but then I need some extreme battery recharging. That's how I always think about it. Like, when I do a lot of socialization, it depletes the battery, and I'm okay if I get a chance to go quietly read or play something, kind of zone out, listen to friends at the table while I'm grinding some strike playlist on Destiny 2 or something. But I need that recharge.
Yeah, we will talk about this in a future episode of Critical Misses, but Thanksgiving is coming up, and there's going to be more than 3 people in the room, which means I'm going to be riddled with anxiety the entire time.
Yep.
So it's just like, yeah, I just need anything to stop me thinking about all of this situation.
Yeah.
And more than 3 people are coming here, which means I can't just
God.
leave.
Nope, screw that.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Change the locks, man.
That's right. Oh, they don't live here anymore. We just bought the house. Bye.
I want to do the Halloween thing and just turn off the porch light and be like, no,
Exactly.
nobody's in.
Exactly.
I turned off
Go
the
away.
turkey light. Nope, nobody's
yeah.
here.
No.
I bought it at the office. Thank you.
No Thanksgiving
Oh,
here.
That's right.
Lights off.
That's right.
I don't know. It's going to be what it is, but anxiety abounds due to that, which is fine, whatever. Boston,
Oh boy.
I
Yes.
have a problem.
Well, yeah.
It's not you this time,
Okay.
unusually. I loaded Descenders again.
Oh no.
You didn't get
So
the
that game-
full achievements for that already?
No, dude, one of the achievements on that game is complete an entire run without ever bailing once.
Oh, I'm
Like-
sorry. I thought I was talking to a prolific achievement hunter over here.
You are. I ain't. So there is literally one instance where I say to myself, "Yeah, that ain't happening."
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And it's anytime I load a roguelike up, it's like, no, I did it once with the granddaddy of them all. I ain't doing it ever again. And for
Because,
those of you
like-
who don't know, that's Isaac. I did it with
Right.
Isaac. I ain't doing it for any other roguelike.
Especially with roguelikes, like every once in a while you'll look at the achievement list and you'll be like, okay, all of these seem okay. And then you get into the game and you're like, oh, now that I actually know what this is, I'll have to do like 1,500 runs to get this one. I'm never, no wonder why 0.03% of people have this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, Descenders has a couple. One of them is the 3 specifically that I really don't like is complete all of the bonus stages.
Ugh.
So that's on each of the maps you get like a bonus weird stage where you can do funny stuff. The one on the first map is a construction zone where you literally have to basically like trials the video game yourself up to the top of a construction zone using not ideal controls. I will say that much. The game is fun and chaotic when you're going fast. When you're going slow and trying to do precision bunny hops across like tires, it's a completely different ball game.
Yeah.
So like it has that one. It has complete all four of those levels. Use the whoopee cushion 200 times.
Okay.
The whoopee cushion is a horn that you can get that you can stick on the front of your bike and do
It's the Yoku's Island Express.
Yeah. Except the whoopee cushion is loot rewarded through random drops.
Incredible.
And it is an extremely rare loot, which means you have to have earned a certain amount of rep in your run to be able to increase the percentage of trying to get that particular piece of loot.
Right.
And then you have to equip it and do it. I've played this game a lot
Mhm.
for the record, and still don't have the whoopee cushion.
Eesh.
And then the other one is the golden run, which is you do an entire run through all 4 stages of the game from scratch without ever falling off your bike,
Never gonna happen.
which is a little on the insane side.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to lie, it is. I have 825 gamer score, by the way, in
Wow.
this.
All right.
And they added a bunch of new stuff. Like there's a bunch of DLC, not DLC, well, yeah, free LC. There's a bunch of new maps. There's they now have like, do you remember that they had like tour missions where you'd have to like do certain missions to like go from amateur to pro, that kind of stuff?
Oh yeah.
They've added a whole bunch more of those, and there's like achievements for filling out each and every one
Oh,
of those,
wow.
and it's just like, okay, I don't care about them because they're extra achievements, so
Right.
they don't count towards my baseline 1000. But the game itself is still it's still that game for me where it's just like, just one more run,
Yeah.
Just one more run.
One more.
just one more run. That's all I need is just one more run, and I will be perfectly happy. The golden run, by the way, 0.03% of gamers have unlocked this.
Yeah, because that's one of those ones where, like, I feel like even if you've been playing it for years, You still have to have that perfect run through where you're just seeing the matrix the whole time.
Uh-huh. And like there are some things on it which are avoidable, like the quote unquote boss levels. So like the first level in the Highlands, the boss level is you hit a big ramp through a flaming hole or through a flaming hoop over a train and land on the other side. That's fine because you can go under the bridge and skip that jump entirely. You don't have to do that jump. The mountains level is a jump over a giant valley that you cannot skip. You have to make that jump. That's a difficult jump to make at the best of times.
Yeah.
But I still love this game. I still do. It's goofy, it's janky, it's broken in so many different ways. But when you hit a jump and you land in a tree at like 400 miles an hour, and you just go, and you have to spawn. Or even when you realize that, hey, you can't do every node on this map and get a bunch of crew members because it's about to turn nighttime.
Right.
And your lights come on, and then your lights run out of battery. So then you're just riding down a mountain in the dark.
What?
Yeah.
They don't have like the little like electric wheel to put on your tires so that way you can just
What they're trying to do is they're trying to do the FTL thing, you know, where you're going across the map on the FTL and like the enemy is pushing further across the map, and when you run into them you basically lose. They're trying to replicate that kind of like roguelike mechanic of like you can't just farm this entire map and do every node. Like you have to make some hard choices to eventually hit the boss before, you know, quote unquote time runs out essentially.
Because, like, what happens is as you're doing tricks and stunts or whatever, you get rep. Well, that rep unlocks crew members, which makes the game easier. So it's like, oh, the bends are not as difficult. It's a narrower slope, a shallower slope. It's easier. You don't bail as much. You can turn more. You rotate faster. So it's stopping you from basically just loading up on every single crew member you can in the first zone before you even make it to the rest.
Yeah.
So it becomes a very big choice differential of how are you going to do this.
Yeah.
I love this game. It's so dumb. And it runs silky smooth now. Like, no hitches, no nothing. Like, they have sufficiently patched it. And on all of the free ride maps, where it has the lobby, every time I go in there, there's like 10 people in the lobby with me.
Wow, nice. I don't know if there were that many people in the lobby for me when I was playing. There were a couple in like that lobby area, felt pretty good, but I don't think it was that many people. It's
performance issues with this game when it released.
It was a little,
just a little hitchy.
It was a little framey. He had a big issue with it.
I was gonna say, I could have sworn one of you said you did.
Yeah, I had to wipe my save out, but that was like it's a very small team, and like this has been a very big hit for this team on Game Pass. This is a really early Game Pass success story of like, hey, we made a game before this and it went fine, but like we put out this game and it took off like nobody's business. So
and their devs are also one of the people saying, hey, after we put it on Game Pass, we saw sales on PlayStation increase, we saw sales on PC increase. Like,
across
they're the
board.
ones, so take from that what you will. Descenders is fun. Y'all should play it, even if you don't like roguelikes. It's a downhill BMX roguelike, by the way, for those of you who don't know.
But like really light on the roguelike stuff. Like it's not super hardcore about it.
Yeah, you only have 5 lives, dude.
Yeah. Very generous for a roguelike.
True.
Yeah.
The final game I played this week is Space Marine 2. I called in the Chunky Boys. The Chunky Boys arrived, and we played all but one of the additional missions now. So we have one more to go. Yeah, we're leveling up. Yeah,
it doesn't feel like it.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Okay, it probably doesn't feel like it because I upped the difficulty to be level appropriate. That's why it doesn't feel like
that's what I'm so I was giving Moon crap about this just for S and giggles, but we were playing what was the difficulty we were
I think it's nominal difficulty.
Okay, yeah, I was saying I knew it had a specific name, but
Okay.
in that though, like we were still getting, clapped back pretty hard. Like it's not like we were just walking through and tearing everything. No, like it was sufficiently difficult. But now that we've hit level 5, and I agree with what you did. Like I said, I was just giving you crap. Now that we've hit level 5, we can go on to the next difficulty, which does increase our experience and like the extra items and stuff that we can get
and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So
Hey
it
Boston,
helps us.
it's called average difficulty.
Yeah,
Perfect. I mean,
just
it's
taunting you with
these
that.
these are good labels for difficulties. I'm not gonna fault them.
But at no point have I ever felt like we were just walking through this game.
Right.
Like there are always times, like even when we were playing this past Friday night, we were all down except for Moon, and then you got me up, and then you went down, and then I got Rob up, and then I went down, and then Rob managed to get Moon back up, and then I was just dead, so I had to wait to respawn. So, but it's still fun. It's just the difficulty is just super weird in this game.
Yeah.
I think it was one of those things as well where like we played the campaign, which was mostly against Tyranids for the start and then spoiler for the end. I think when we went into the side missions, we went back up against Tyranids and we found those missions difficult and we thought, hey, it's just because we're level 1. It's because, this is the start and whatever. Then we got up to the missions with the spoiler, and those missions were cakewalks in comparison to the Tyranid missions.
Yeah.
And then we did there's side missions associated with the campaign. There's 5 of those. And then there's 2 more missions that are not associated with the campaign. That's something completely separate. So we finished the campaign missions and we did the first of the 2 unassociated ones. And it turns out the first one was Tyranid map. And we got wrecked because Tyranids are difficult.
Yeah.
Which again, all right, cool. Yeah, I know from reading the 2 books that I've read so far that those aren't things that you mess with. But when they sent, Rob had pointed it out, where it's when they send 5 of those melee guys at you, and it's I'm dead.
I'm not making it out of this.
I don't feel like I've done anything to help progress the mission yet.
Yeah, you've got to switch from a Gears of War mode to a Dark Souls mode because your parry and block has to be on point against those melee people.
Oh, interesting.
So you have to switch your thinking to being I'm shooting people with my bolt gun and people are exploding and it's great.
Yeah.
And then they come out with their stupid whips and you're just no, now I got to get my parry game on. Press the right button, do the right move, dodge at the right time, all that kind of stuff.
Huh.
It's still fun, but I mean, we're still filthy casuals where we started the game and we're okay, remember, B is grenade for you guys, A is grenade for me. And then we all promptly threw grenades.
Perfect.
Yeah, because you're the heretic who changed the Emperor's wishes. We go by Emperor's law.
I was fine, but you guys were the first ones that accidentally threw a grenade, and then I threw a grenade, which happened to time out just fine for me, even though it was by accident. But yeah, every time I would throw one, everyone was oh, did you throw it by mistake? I'm no, did you not see the swarm? I dumped all 3 grenades right there in that pile.
You're just talking around the fact that you're a heretic because you went against the Emperor's wishes, changed the controls.
No, that was gonna.
He's not playing inverted. That's the heresy.
I mean,
or
that's
Southpaw.
the true heresy.
Oh, Southpaw, yeah.
Yeah, it's still fun.
Good.
Yeah, we're still wrapping our heads around the leveling system every once in a while because only because for the weapons specifically, I had a pistol that was mastered, so I wasn't getting experience for me. And then the next mission that we did, all of a sudden the pistol started getting experience, and then I started unlocking these little coins or whatever that I can use to unlock, not skills, but I guess a
it's a skill tree.
Passive.
The guns have a skill tree. Your character has a skill tree. Your partners have skill trees, and every individual weapon has its own skill tree essentially, and its own experience bars too. So Boston, you want bars?
Yeah.
We got bars on bars.
Fill those bars.
Kendrick Lamar is in this game. There's so many bars.
Yes.
Yeah, we get lost in the menus quite a bit when we get back onto the ship.
Yeah.
Just trying to figure out what we're doing.
And then we all have a cool talk about the new armor piece that we unlocked and how it's terrible because it looks like I've got M40 grenades taped to my leg despite being a sniper. And Rob has skulls embossed in his knuckles now because he's
Dude, I
cool.
want that so bad.
Man.
He's on his gauntlet. He's got like 4 silver skulls like embedded into where the punch would happen.
Dang.
And
I
I was
actually
just
get
like,
to, like-
dude, that looks cool.
Yeah.
That's like 6 armor levels higher for me to get them for my heavy dude.
Man.
Oh, it's ridiculous. But then we started unlocking cool skills. Like I have one where it's like everyone just, it's a passive. Everyone in our team just takes 20% less range damage.
Nice.
Yep.
There you go.
Did I feel the difference? No, because the next campaign was the all melee one. But
Yeah.
you know, my
But then,
Halo,
like, yeah,
my ring
it's
thing,
got
or my
this-
bubble thing lasts a lot longer now. It can take more damage. I know you guys started. What was it, like headshots? Moon was the one that you got.
Yeah, my squad perk is everyone does more damage from headshots, which is very useful when we're rolling around with Rob, who doesn't believe in firearms and only believes in the might of the hammer.
Oh god, yeah.
Thankfully,
Because that helps
'cause
you and me out because we're
there
constantly
is
out of
ammo
ammo.
problems. Yes, we have ammo problems because he's using the heavy, which chews through ammo. I'm using the sniper rifle, which doesn't have a lot of ammo. And then Rob is rolling around with a hammer, just being like, ammo box here, ammo box there, ammo box here,
Yeah.
ammo box there.
What I do in 100 rounds worth of damage, Moon does in a single bullet of damage, but we are both equally tied and screwed to have less than we need to get through a level. So,
Oh, sure.
you know,
Yeah,
it works out though.
It's cool though because like I think it's just that right side of the balance where it's just like, yeah, we're always scrounging. We're never 100% boned,
Yeah.
but we're always scrounging a little bit for like just to try and make sure we don't end up screwed, kind of thing. It's fun. It's stupid. Like remembering the pistol parry mechanic thing that gives you bonus armor is key for me. I desperately need to unlock my next set of perks where, like, when I do a perfect dodge, I go invisible, which is like, yes, please.
I now have one where if I revive somebody, I don't take damage for like 5 or 10 seconds.
Oh, wow.
Which is
That's cool.
extremely helpful when we're getting hoarded on by everything.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying this a lot. And honestly, my time constraints have actually probably helped me in this case because it means I haven't just pounded this game in 2 weeks and then got annoyed with it super quick. So because we're only able to play it like as a group every week or every 2 weeks or whatever, it's just like, yeah, cool. This is about the right pace for it. Yes, we need to remember the controls every time we load it, but it doesn't feel like I'm burning myself out on it as quickly as I probably could do if we were just like, yeah, let's go.
Right.
Well, that's the thing with me too, because like when we're playing it and we get done for the night, we get done at like 1 a.m. For us. For Rob, it's like 6 p.m. or whatever. But you know, but like we have to call it quits because like we have to sleep. But it's like I want to keep playing, like I want to keep grinding out the game. But when we're not playing it, I don't have to think about it, so I don't, and it makes it a lot easier that we play it like every 2 or so weeks because it just gives me that drive to look forward to playing it now because I still want to check out like the multiplayer just to see what that's like.
Me too. I want to see if I can get that stupid 5 kills achievement. If I can get that, I'll be happy. Because yes, it has multiplayer achievements despite how much I hate them, and one of them is kill 5 people without being killed.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if we use the same characters for multiplayer, don't we?
No clue.
Okay. Yeah, that's how involved we are with the game.
Yep.
One aspect at a time. So, but it's a ton of fun.
Yeah.
We're still upgrading and just playing with stuff.
Yep.
Like just armor wise, like just playing dress up, changing paints.
Yeah.
So
it's a genuine like brainless breath of fresh air most of the time. I'm sure at higher difficulties it won't be. But yeah, Space Marine 2 is fun. That is all I've been playing. Nimp, what else have you been playing?
boy, so keeping in the mind with trying to stay brainless, I was playing a lot of MGS5 Phantom Pain this week.
Oh, yeah.
Not that this game is brainless, it's just I'm doing all the side op stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have to think about, okay, how am I going to infiltrate this? I just drop on the map, and then I've got 6 different missions that I can do that are currently active. Yep. It's like, okay, let's drop here, quiet. You go your way. I will go follow you. It's like 100, 500 meters that way. She's got everything scouted, and I just come in and just clean up. Yep. I hate doing heavy vehicle missions.
So you can do the take out or take away for those, can't you?
Yeah, so that's all I do. I run up, I sneak up, and then I'll put the Fulton on the armored vehicles, and I take whoever's in them, and I take the vehicles, and then I can sell them later if I need to. The reason I hate them now is because I'm at the point where every single one of them has a helicopter.
Yep.
And it aggravates me that I can't steal the helicopter. It aggravates me that I can't fly the helicopter. But, you know, so I always have to shoot them down. And I never go in there equipping the rocket launcher, because anytime you do a heavy vehicle mission, there's at least one soldier there who's on patrol who has some sort of rocket launcher. And it's usually the super cheap one that doesn't have a lock on. That's not an issue at all. It usually only has 1, maybe 2 rockets, which is fine because you just need 1 to take out a helicopter. You just have to position yourself just right. But the worst part is when you get spotted and it's daytime, and then just all hell breaks loose, and you're out in the middle of a field and you just can't get away, so you might as well just die and reload, kind of thing. So that sucks. I did do the side up mission where we had to get the AI pod. And this is for story. I don't remember where I'm at in the story at all. I haven't touched any of the main story missions.
See, you say AI pod, and all I think about is Peace Walker. Because
this is the pod from Peace Walker, yeah.
Yes.
So, because the whole... I remembered after I got it, because it flies away, and Mother Base is retrieving it. And I remember the whole thing about Emmerich, because there was like a brief part in the story where he's possibly a double agent, or that he's betrayed you or something, and the whole point of getting the AI pod is to help either prove him innocent or guilty. Yeah, it's his dad.
It's his dad as well, which is just like Metal Gear is the Star Wars of action games, where everything has to go, everyone has to be related. Well, the world is the size of a small village, essentially.
If I remember correctly, wasn't their dad not a great parent, at least?
Who, Huey's dad?
Yeah, because I remember too, you get it from Emma, where you start seeing the... Yeah. Because like something about cheating on their mom with Lovecraft or whatever the other doctor... Whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know. I was just telling Moon, I don't know where I'm at in the story in this game right now, because I've just done side missions. So I don't remember the whole ins and outs with everything that's happening, particularly where I'm at. But yeah, just a lot of running around recruiting people. I did some FOB missions, the online stuff, and boy, that's interesting. There's a lot of non-active bases out there, because I'm so far out from when this game's released that there's only the true diehards that are still playing this and have everything spec to the 9s, or it's like I show up on this base and it's like there's like one dude here,
right? And
I tranquilize him, and I took the base away, so now I'm just pillaging everything,
right?
So that's still fun, but yeah, I'm just going through and upgrading stuff. I'm just having a blast still, like researching everything, upgrading things. I now have another FOB that I've upgraded all the platforms to level 2, I think it is. So now, like, all of my security, combat, R&D, medicine, intelligence, like, all of that stuff, I can have 140 people in each one of those now.
Wow, nice.
And they're all, like, level 50 going on 60, and everything is either A tier or S tier, so I can research all this crap. I just need to get to mission, I think it's 38, because all I need to make infinite suppressors, which is just the built inside the gun, so that I don't have to worry about them running out, is I just need someone who is a suppressor, like engineer or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, right.
And apparently you get one on mission 38.
All right.
And I'm on like mission 33 and 34.
Pretty close.
Yeah, but they also do that weird thing where like the story missions would be like mission 34, mission 38, mission 52, and then it
Yes.
backfills the gaps with the
Yeah.
side missions.
Well, because like mission 33 is like an extreme version of mission 20 something, because it tells you right there, it's like you do not shoot, you do not have a buddy, you do not have a vehicle, you do not bring in equipment, everything is procure on
right.
site, and you have to complete this. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna screw around and do side mission a little bit longer.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that right now.
I accidentally put myself like completely in the red and had to dig myself out of that because I did a ton of research and I didn't know that the game would let me go past 0. So I was negative like 1,000,000 GMP and sold. And this is why I keep like all the extra tanks and stuff, because if I'm not using them for missions, I have like 20 or 30 like of each vehicle. So it's like I just sell a couple of them and then it just brings me back out. It's like, all right, so I'm good there. But it's like I didn't think or remember that it would let me do that, so that sucked. But yeah, the only thing else to bring up is that I went through, because I'm doing all of the send out missions, the dispatch missions. They're bringing back soldiers in, and I haven't really been paying attention to the skills because I have so many people that it doesn't matter.
Right out of space.
Well, that, but also I forgot that there are people that come in who, oh God, what do they call them? They
it's
have
like the troublemakers and stuff like that?
Troublemakers.
Yeah.
And it's been funny reading the descriptions, like, oh, this guy doesn't bathe.
Right.
This guy
just
doesn't,
sucks. He's
yeah,
just
this
a real
guy
jerk.
doesn't wash his hands after using the bathroom.
Right.
This guy just stabs people.
Right. That's right.
It's like,
Yeah.
all right, so I tried to sort everybody by skill, and I don't know, I haven't figured out the disconnect, but it'll start out in alphabetical, and then it just skips, where it's like you're kind of in A's, and then all of a sudden you're in D's, and then you're in V's, and then you're in M's, and then you're back to the rest of A's, and then you're back in like D, and then it goes to C, and then it kind of evens out. So it took a while to figure out where all the stupid troublemakers were, so I could start getting rid of all of them. So that was interesting. But yeah, it's still a lot of fun. And then I forgot about with the dispatch missions, because I was to the point that there were like security cameras everywhere. People had helmets, armored vests, the whole nine. I'm like, pull up the dispatch missions, and towards the very bottom of the non-online ones, I forgot you can send your crew or your groups out, and they can start sabotaging stuff. So that way they go sabotage the supply hut.
Right.
There's less sniper rifles out in the field.
Right.
You go sabotage this thing. All of a sudden, no one has helmets anymore.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, I had 12 of those. The enemy had so many advantages on me. There were 12 separate missions that I had to send people out on, and I could only do them 4 at a time. And finally, I'm down to a point where it's like, every once in a while, I find somebody with a helmet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everyone else is running around in shorts and a short sleeve, and they've got a gun, and that's about it.
There you go.
So yeah, Metal Gear Solid 5, still a great time. I love ambushing everything in this game. It's just time of my life.
So good.
I don't know if I remember it correctly or not, but if I do remember it correctly, I'm pretty sure there's Fulton mines in that game where you can put like a landmine on the road, and then that Fultons things away.
I also just made a Fulton rocket launcher where you shoot it, and whatever you hit just gets Fultoned away.
That's incredible.
You don't even have to be near it anymore.
I don't think I unlocked that. That's amazing.
It's just the dumb stuff. They have a Jahute arm that you can create for Venom, and it shoots out wisps from the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, this game, everything. It's great. It's dumb. It's fun. I enjoy it.
Can we all agree Kojima is slightly bonkers, but also might be one of the weirdest / best artists of time?
Oh, for sure.
Period.
I think he just has a really good way of putting it there, and then having you enjoy the same experience that he just thought up.
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone, even with Death Stranding, everyone crapped on that as just being a walking simulator. And then look at how many people just took it extremely hardcore, and it's like people have optimization maps for the proper route you should take based on your gear and all this crap. And it's like, you just have to be willing to go down the rabbit hole with him.
Yeah, just take the journey. Yeah,
just take his hand. You'll be fine. You'll be safe. Yeah. You may not like what you see all the time, but you're going to learn something.
Yeah. Oh, man.
speaking of taking a hand, the last game that I played was Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Rob and I played a little bit online. He actually jumped into my game while I was goofing around on Nuketown, and I didn't even realize he was there at first until like I saw somebody with like a green name card, and I'm like, who is that? I was like, oh, it's Rob, and I didn't have a mic on or anything. So we got done with that, and I dropped out of the match and sent him a message like, give me like 5 minutes, I gotta help my wife with something, and I'll grab a mic, and then we can keep playing. We do that, and we played like two of the crappiest players ever. At least I did. Whereas like I went from doing really well to like I was getting like 4 kills and 19 deaths. Or
the ratio like, flipped.
Yeah, and I'm like, so because I didn't know what all he wanted to do, and I'm like, we don't have to keep doing Nuketown. I was just kind of doing it because my daily was like I needed to get like 10 headshots, and it's a lot easier to get 10 headshots when all you have to do is turn a corner and there's like 5 people there that I can just shoot, as opposed to playing regular matches. So we played around with that a little bit, and then we went into zombie mode, which I had not touched at all, like I said last time. So we get into it. I start out, you can play solo or you can do multiplayer, and it will fill in people for you. So with me and Rob, it filled in 2 more people. I started out with a pistol because that's all I had. Go into the game, and there's like 2 guys who already have assault rifles, long arms at least. And I'm like, what? How do you start with those? Like all I could choose were the pistols that I unlocked so far from multiplayer. And it looks like the stats do bounce back and forth between. So like the handgun that I've been using in multiplayer this entire time, I can bring that the exact way it's kitted out into zombies, and it's the same level, and it continues to level up as well.
That's really nice.
Rob was very patient with me.
Big shout out to Rob.
I was peppering him with questions like non-stop while we were playing this, to a point where I think we were like 15 minutes, 20 minutes into this mission, and I asked another question, and he got real quiet for a minute, and he's just like, yeah, man, I don't know. And I'm like, oh, I just did the whole like 5-year-old to parent thing of, so why is the sky blue? Why does this do this? Right. How does it do this? What's going on with that kind of thing? And then realizing is like, I should just probably shut up and just play the game.
Yeah, I should probably just keep playing.
So while I'm peppering him with all these questions, he was helping me out with everything, and I'm just asking like random stuff like, hey, why is there a gumball machine here? What does this do? Apparently you can get like these little perk things or something from them. I found like just in the video right now, there was a chest or like a little crate that has like a bunch of question marks on it, and I spent money on that and got a random weapon. Apparently it's a randomizer chest where it just spits out a thing and it gives you something. I was like, cool.
Nice.
Rob brought me over to a vending machine. It's like, okay, you use this to increase the rarity of your weapon. But Rob, why do I want to increase the rarity of my weapon?
Well, I'm glad you asked.
Yeah.
He's got perks.
So the one that it spat out to me, I had it was one of the pump action shotguns. It already had like a red dot on it and something else. Like I think I had like faster reloads or something on it. But yeah, basically you start out with a green weapon. You can upgrade it to a blue weapon, which gives you more perks and it does things. You can also upgrade it so that way it does more damage, which Rob brought me into this other area. And it's like, okay, and if you go here and then you do this thing and you'll increase the damage it does by 2. And this is right around the time when the zombies started getting really hard with me. So I'm like, okay, cool. And I do that and the zombies start to become easier because it's all wave based. So every couple waves, they slowly get harder and harder.
Oh, okay.
So you got to kind of keep up with that. Rob also pointed out, hey, do you know how to equip armor in this game? Because I was always almost dead. And I'm like, yeah, I know how to do it. I'm just not doing it apparently.
I might not have done it yet.
Yeah, so I'm just, tapping Y, equipping my little plates. That way I can hold them, and he's explaining so you can eventually upgrade that so that you can have more plates equipped and, all this fun stuff. We did Liberty Falls, and it was just a bunch of running around and shooting zombies. And I don't hate zombie mode. I hate Call of Duty zombies because they're 28 days zombies.
Oh,
it's
right.
like they run, they parkour, they get behind you, They're everywhere. You can't back up and shoot because there's 20 of them behind you, and you can't go forward because there's 50 in front of you, kind of thing.
Right.
So it's real quick to get swarmed around if you're not paying attention, which when you're trying to figure out what you're doing and you're taking in the sights, I am not paying attention to where the zombies are. So we did a lot of running around. There was a lot of unlocking of things that I wasn't fully understanding or care. We eventually unlocked a bowling alley. Rob said I couldn't catch what, because all of a sudden, like, all the zombies started flooding into the bowling alley, and I was shooting like everything nonstop. And then I eventually went down, and I was like, "So you guys wanted to be inside for the bowling alley?"
Right.
He's like, "Yeah, there's a thing we were supposed to do, and then we all got wiped." I was like, "Okay, cool. I don't know what's going on, but it was enjoyable."
Nice.
So I'll check it out again at some point.
Yeah.
I don't, like I said, you can play this solo. I don't think I'm ever going to play this solo.
That sounds ridiculous.
Nope.
Yeah. There are missions and like things that you're supposed to be doing, and like, everyone, I guess, refers to the mission that you're supposed to be doing as an Easter egg.
I have heard that term, yeah.
Yeah, so you're supposed to be doing the Easter egg, and I'm like, but Rob, what is the Easter egg? And I believe that is when, well, Nimp, why don't you just play the game?
Maybe we'll find out together.
Yeah.
So I know that the zombies mode has got progressively more eccentric as the years have gone by, where like all of a sudden it'll be like, oh, here's a reference to an old Call of Duty game, and then 2 hours later it's like, oh, hey, there's a megalodon like jumping through the map and eating everybody.
Yeah, there was like some beast that came from a portal, and Rob was telling me, it's like, if you see it inhaling, just chuck a grenade and it'll inhale the grenade and it'll blow up. I'm like, oh, that classic nutshell, and start chucking grenades at it to get it to blow up. But that thing almost took me out, because I'm like, oh, this thing is super aggressive and it is following me everywhere. So yeah, so that's zombies. It's fun. I will keep trying to figure. I should probably watch a video or something about what I should be doing, because everyone's already past the point of trying to figure it out. It's just me trying to figure it out.
Yeah, like everybody knows all the basics, and it's like, oh god, of course the gumball machine does this. And it's like, oh
yeah,
all right.
Well. Like, can you tell me what the paint of the weapon on the wall does? Like, no, you idiot. I know that you can buy the weapon, but why can't I buy the weapon? Oh, there's 2 currencies. Okay.
Oh, sure.
So now that we've covered zombies, briefly, I'm going to get into the multiplayer.
Okay.
Because I did a ton of that. There is an event that's called The Event that just started this past Thursday.
The Event.
Yes. This is a community-wide event that is happening where, based on how many kills you get, the community can start unlocking things for the game.
Okay.
Right now, there's personal, or the hit list, but they also just call it the event. Rob, be quiet. Sorry, he's in the chat.
Thank you, Rob, in chat.
So there's a personal and there's a community way for you to earn stuff. Your personal is you have to get a certain amount of kills in either Warzone, zombies, or multiplayer.
Oh, okay.
Multiplayer, it's 1-to-1. If you take someone out in multiplayer, you get a skull. In zombies, you have to take out 5 zombies and then you get a skull. And then in Warframe, Jesus, in Warzone, if you take out, don't mention it.
That's right.
In Warzone, if you take somebody out in that, you get 5 skulls.
Oh, okay.
So you can pick whatever mode you're enjoying. If you really want to be a try hard about it, you can just do nothing but Warzone and just be bad at it and not get any skulls. Or you can do what I'm doing and just play Nuketown and just kill fools left and right.
Mm-hmm.
I got my first helicopter call in, which has never happened before, because I was playing exceptionally well. I got a 31-7 on that one.
Wow.
Don't know where that came from.
Yeah.
Because that is not the norm. But so now I have I think there's like 5 things you can unlock. There's like a load screen, a call card, something, and then the 5th thing is like a drill that you can unlock as a melee weapon.
Oh wow.
I don't know if I want to watch the execution for that or not.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it seems horribly violent. But for the first one, I needed 100 skulls. I've already unlocked that. That allows me to change what my loading screen looks like. To get all the way up to that drill melee weapon, which is the last one, I have to get 1,000 skulls.
Oh, okay.
So you can do that. However, with the community one that's running side with this, the community altogether has to get a certain amount of kills or skulls, and then we start unlocking things. So the first thing it looks like that was unlocked was there was an item, a bump, or a stock, like a weapon stock. I don't even know what it goes to yet. That was unlocked at like 5 billion kills.
Okay.
Yeah. The next thing that we're working on is like a new patch that you can get, like a perk. I don't know what it does, but we have to get like 15 billion kills, and we're
Wow.
at 10 billion right now.
Jeez. Okay.
And the ultimate thing that everyone is working towards, apparently, or at least the thing that's at the top tier, is like this. It looks like a submachine gun 9mm weapon that everyone will get. And I think that one is like 50 billion kills or something like that.
Gosh.
Like there's,
Okay.
you got to get a ton. So it's like, all right, cool. Like I'll play my part, and I'll add skulls. If we get the big community one, cool. I kind of want to get the drill just to see it and to have it.
Right.
And it's free. Like you didn't have to pay anything for this. This is currently a free thing that's happening. So I'm like, yeah, I'll work towards getting a free thing. Why not?
Yeah.
No problem. So that is it for the online multiplayer. The next part for the campaign. So I already told you guys how the campaign started out regular Call of Duty. Fancy swearing, seems like a 15-year-old wrote it. Kind of crappy, whatever. I'm just here to blow stuff up. I can listen to a podcast while playing. And then I got to the open area, which is what started, which revamped my Metal Gear Solid 5 obsession, which is why I'm playing that now. This new area that I'm in, actually, Boston, if you want to look up specifically anything to do with the level called Emergence.
Emergence. Almost like.
Oh, is it E-Day all over
That's
again?
right.
No. So you start out.
Are they just cogs?
Last week I talked to you guys about how I found the Cradle, which is like this virus thing that was created in America. So now we're supposed to go and figure out where this is being made at. And you start out, you find this area, you get into it, everything already goes sideways, where you guys jump on an elevator, the elevator falls down, your mask gets cracked and all that because you're in a biohazard lab, so you're all geared up, and of course your mask is busted and you're compromised, and you start walking through this area, and this guy's like, I think I'm compromised. Like, geez, you don't think all the green, weird, mystic smoke that's everywhere didn't hint you?
That's right.
Things
aren't what they seem, man.
Yeah, so you walk to like the other side of this room, the door is locked, and the objective changed to find something to pry the door open with. Like, all right, cool. Turn back around, and there's just like a mannequin with the axe in the side of it. I'm like, all right. You pry out the hatchet, turn around, there's like a bunch of mannequins standing behind you. Like,
okay, good.
It's going to be that, isn't it? So I take all of them out, and I'm not sure I needed to, but I did anyway. I get to the door, open it, and all of a sudden I see somebody frantically run across the screen. I'm like,
cool, good.
It's going to be that part of the game.
It's Ghostwire Tokyo all over again.
I get to the next door, go in. It looks like I just walked into Control.
Wow. Okay.
Old federal building, 1970s furniture everywhere, the old green, computers,
right?
Everything, the bright orange, the burnt bright orange. I'm like,
that's
okay,
cool.
This is getting cool. I started this mission with a headset on because I was getting ready to play a podcast. I started getting more and more into this mission, and I just like popped those out, and I'm like, what is going on in here right now? Get up to this area, it's like, okay, try to get to this one wing of the building. I walk over there, click it, and it's like, no, you need these security badges to get through. I'm like, okay, fine. So you get a map, and it's like a paper map that you pull up, and it's like the old Art Deco design map of, hey, you need these 4 admin badges to get through this door. So now you need to go to these 4 different wings to get these badges. And the first wing, at least that I went to, was the Advanced Combat Research Badge. And you walk through this hallway and you find like just it's this circular office that spans like I don't know how many feet up in the air, but you're not really seeing the top of it. And it's just this desk with like an Apple II computer on it and a phone and a switch. And you hit the switch and the whole floor slowly starts to drop down.
Oh, wow.
And now you've entered the combat area. There's weapons everywhere. There's like 2 turrets that are there that you can grab and set up. I grab everything and I see, oh, hey, there's a body up top there that has the badge that I need. But there's this body down here that has like this grappling hook on his arm. And I grab that. And it starts an honest to God, full health bar showing up on screen boss fight.
Wow.
I died the first time because I wasn't aware that the cutscene had ended. So basically you get, this thing starts attacking you, and you're supposed to use the grapple hook that you just got to grapple something, you know, behind it. And then you start the boss fight normally. There's not a prompt. There wasn't anything I was given. I was just watching the boss, you know, come to life. And the next thing I know, it's just like, you died.
Wow.
So restart that, grab it again. And then I'm just sitting here pressing like all the buttons. It's just, okay, what was I supposed to be doing? And that's when it grapples out and I get behind it and I start the boss fight. And it's just this giant 3-headed dog thing with a person sticking out of its back that's got like this admin lanyard on it that you need. And you just have to slowly start whittling away with it, and it starts shooting like this projectile beam at you. And now that you have the grapple, you can start grappling to different points and different locations in this area, which is great because zombies start to get involved and they start rushing you, and it becomes a real hassle. I eventually killed them, got the admin thing, go back upstairs, and all of a sudden, like this female voice starts talking to you in your head. Not like through a microphone, not through the radio, because you're still in contact with your team every once in a while. But like in your head, this voice is talking directly to you, is narrating to you things that have happened in this facility, things that your character shouldn't be aware of, and things that I'm assuming you as the player shouldn't be aware of. And she starts talking about how, you're not compromised. You know, what they did to you 10 years ago saw to that. You're fine. I was like, all right, what happened 10 years ago?
Right.
And then you move into the next area. I went to, what was the next place called? Administration. So the administration map, I had to use the grapple hook to get up over into a balcony, walk through an area, and there is this red mannequin that's behind this glass who is supposed to be playing the director. And they have their admin badge across their neck. But it's a mannequin, it's not moving. It's like, okay, what do I have to do? The voice in your head starts to tell you, oh, look, it's missing 5 or 6 of these files. You need to go around this office, grab the files, and then put them up in the rack so you can get to the director. Okay. You randomly find the files in this office, you grab a file, and then all of a sudden all these mannequins show up behind you. Like, what?
So where's Jessie in all of this?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know yet. I haven't found her. So this is the stop-go section of the game where I turn my back and I hear movement, and all of a sudden all the mannequins stop moving. But since they're mannequins, like, you can still see their arms didn't fully stop. So like one of them who's like getting ready to swing at you, their arm is like just dangling in front of you all of a sudden. I'm like, oh my god. So there's like 20 of them, and I had to clear all 20 of them, go and find the next one. Same thing, you pick up the file, all of a sudden there's mannequins behind you. It's like, oh my god. So clear all of them, do this a couple more times, rinse and repeat. You put all the files up, and as you're putting on the last file, all of a sudden the red mannequin that was there just disappears.
Of course.
And you put the final file in there, and that mannequin rushes through the window, grabs you by the throat, throws you, and then just disappears, and you get the objective, fight the mannequin.
Okay.
But all the other mannequins have come back now, and it's full-on stop-go. So I run into the office and hide, so that way I am looking out this tiny section that the red mannequin busted out, so they can all run up to my field of vision, and I can start picking them off and taking them out. but then there's too many to the left and right. And I eventually had to leave that section because if I turn left to take any mannequins, they were too close and they'd be able to start attacking me. But if I turn right, it's the same thing. So I just had to leave that section. All of a sudden, it's just they're chasing you. And you're trying to find the red mannequin that's just running laps around this office. And you're supposed to grapple him, pull him towards you, and do that a couple times. You break him apart, and then he turns into a boss, and then you destroy him. Okay. That was interesting. And the lady is still calmly talking to you and filling you in on stories and stuff, and you're still getting some background, and I'm not entirely sure. I'm kind of right now thinking, does this facility really look like this right now, or is this guy going through so much crap right now that he's like filling in things that's happening in reality right now, kind of thing? I'm fully bought into this mission so far.
Yeah.
So then I go into the next area. Next area is the joint projects area. And as you start walking into this location, you notice all of a sudden things start to disappear in like a flash of light. You're like, what is going on here? Nothing's coming at you. Nothing's attacking you. And you get into this whole area, and it's like these big areas of like these modeled cities, like Washington, D.C., Moscow, like all these points of interest. And apparently this area was supposed to be used. If you look in the way back, they've got like a glass, I don't even know, tube thing that they drop on top. And I guess they just fill it with toxins or whatever, just to see how everything flows through a town.
Oh, okay.
So it's like one of those weird things. It's like, okay, this is really cool. But as I'm noticing things are disappearing, I notice that one of the cameras has the lanyard that I'm trying to get. I'm like, cool, this is where the boss comes out. So I go over and grab the lanyard. Not only did the boss come out, the boss was that camera.
Oh.
This is a mimic from Prey.
Perfect.
Because once you find it, it'll start attacking you. You have to shoot it up. Once you get its health to a certain point, it disappears. And then you have to find the random object in this whole space of an office that doesn't belong anymore.
I love, like, you can immediately tell what section of this game Raven made. Like, it's just like, yeah, Raven made this part, in case you were curious. It's these guys.
So, I never truly figured out, like, I got to a point where it's like, I just started walking around the office, and you can hear it.
Oh,
and
okay.
You can hear it get louder, at least with the headset on. I'm assuming you can with your TV speakers as well. So I'm like, okay, I'm really close to a sound. It has to be the chair, this projector, or this mug.
Okay.
Nope, turns out it was the TV that was behind me.
Perfect.
So, and then it'll run around, and eventually you'll get it, and you'll restart the boss fight again. And because you have the grapple hook, you can bounce around to like different locations and stuff as well in here. And then zombies start showing up, and then I eventually took out the boss, and now I have that lanyard. I have not gone. Well, I take it back. I went into the fourth area. I have not officially started or completed the fourth area.
Oh, okay.
The fourth area is cognitive research.
That sounds concerning.
I opened the door, walked into the area, and like an image of a demon just like got bigger and bigger and went through me. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be cool.
Yeah.
And that's about as far as I've gotten with the campaign so far. So
sounds pretty cool.
I had no expectations with the campaign for this game.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of figured when everyone was like, dude, you have to play the campaign, it's great. I was figuring it was just, okay, it's more just dude, bro, military, hoorah crap.
Right. No Russian part 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I get to this map and I'm like, there better be more of this.
Right. How much?
Because this is really awesome.
Yeah, can you just keep doing this? That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to keep playing it. I still don't like the zombies in this game.
Yeah.
Just because of how they can get everywhere. But like this level in particular, I'm like, wow. Like I was fully not planning on paying attention to what was happening, and it pretty much is like, no. You need to listen to what is happening because we're going to give you all this crap. And then for like a moment, someone said something, and I was like, do I need to play the campaigns for the other Black Ops games now?
Right. Am
like,
is this actually cool?
Yeah. So tune in for that possible
thing.
So, but yeah, surprisingly, like, I am really enjoying the campaign with this game. And surprisingly, I'm doing really well in the multiplayer in this game.
Right.
So hopefully we can do the trifecta and I get really hooked on zombies. And then I'd be like, yeah, Call of Duty, for once, almost game of the year.
That's right. Grabbing me.
But that's all I've been playing this week.
All right. For me, I wanted to first talk about Sony put out a new firmware update for the PlayStation Portal.
They absolutely did.
That allows you to stream games to it from the cloud. And there's some restriction, of course. You have to be some PS Plus tier. I don't know.
You have to be premium, which is the $170 a year.
Is that the highest tier?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. I'm pretty impressed with how easy this beta was to get up and running. You just install the new firmware, which actually didn't take an hour like it usually is. It doesn't take that long. It feels like it though. When you first fire it up after that, it's like, hey, you get this cloud streaming thing. You have to go turn it on though. If you want to go turn it on, go to the settings, go to the cloud streaming thing, enable that. That will turn it on. You go enable it. It restarts your portal. You then, if anyone hasn't seen the portal, there's like a purple portal on the thing when you first start it, and it'll say like, oh, connect to, and it'll have your PS5's name on it.
Yeah.
On that screen now, it now has two options. One is connect to your PS5. The other one is start streaming from the cloud. You pick cloud streaming. It does a short little load, and then it just shows the like 150 or something games that you can stream, and it's just a giant list of games.
And it works so far.
So I'm really impressed by two things. One is how fast it is to start a streaming game. Because the last time I tried streaming on either it was late PS4 or early PS5, it took forever to start a thing. It'd be like, oh, well, we're starting up the PS5. We're loading the game. We're bringing in your save. Like, it felt like, we were talking about Prey. It felt like loading Prey on the 360, where it's like, okay, well, that progress bar is done. Oh, there's another progress bar. Okay. Oof, all right, let's just settle in for this one. That was really easy. Like, that was really fast. And I played 2 games that I had saves for, and both of them automatically pulled my saves in.
Nice.
And I played the Plucky Squire because I wanted something that was kind of like hack and slash where you could really feel the lag. Yeah. And I played Dredge because I played enough of that I knew exactly how that felt. Both of them felt perfect, which I'm doubly impressed by because I expect that experience on my PS5 because I have it hardwired. It's like I have a very fast, very stable connection. The connection on my Portal so far has been fine. I don't think I would say that it's like exceptionally stable or fast. My home wireless is okay. But man, was I impressed by how smooth and how responsive this streaming was, because I was expecting to fire it up and just have it be like the PS4 where it's like, yeah, it kind of looks bad and there's enough delay that it feels pretty bad to play, but I was pretty impressed with how it felt overall. This would definitely be a thing that I think if I don't want to install something on my PS5 to play it, or if I am not at home, as long as you're somewhere that has like a stable enough connection, it seems like it's a pretty good option, I gotta say.
Yeah, I was like, because I did Ratchet and Clank just to try it. I haven't done anything else with it yet, and yeah, it played smooth. And I was like, all right, cool, I am done with that because I already platinumed it. But
yeah,
I haven't checked out anything else on it yet so far because I still primarily use it to run off my PS5.
Right.
When my wife's in here, but
and go ahead.
I was just gonna say all the people online who's like, "Oh, the portal isn't useless now," and blah blah blah.
Oh,
it's like,
God, get over
okay,
it.
Maybe for you it was useless, and I have to agree, it is a very specific use case,
right?
If it wasn't for the fact that my wife started playing, Disney Dreamlight Valley on my Xbox in here, or
Right.
started, doing other things, I probably wouldn't have gotten a Portal. But when she is in here, I love playing on that thing.
Yeah.
I just lay in bed and just do whatever I was doing. I still have not tried an online shooter on it yet. I don't want to
haven't
tempt
either.
fate.
Right.
So, because it's just a smaller screen. But outside of that, like when I was playing Metaphor on it, absolutely no issues whatsoever.
Right.
Still looked great. Still had a ton of fun. I was just sitting there grinding on it. So.
Yeah, and they said that the streaming for the cloud stuff on Portal is 1080p 60, which is great. Like that's way more than I would have expected, and it seems like it holds up like that in the sort of limited testing I've done so far. So that's cool. I was expecting to come in here and be like, yeah, hey, shocker, doesn't work. Yep, it works like every other cloud thing does, and it's sort of busted, but that's cool.
The only crapshoot is that you have to spend $200 on it.
Yeah.
And then you have to spend $170 a year if you buy from PlayStation. There are other things.
Right.
So, but it's like it is kind of a high price point to be able to get it to do this.
And I do have to say, for people that are, if you have a Steam Deck, you should just use Chiaki, and you should just use that to stream your PlayStation stuff. There's no reason for you to have a Portal and a Steam Deck when the Steam Deck can do what the Portal does better, and you can do all of the other Portal stuff. So, like, I want to make sure that I'm clear that I am not coming here and being like, this is the only solution, it's the best one. It's not the best one. Steam Deck does it way better. Like, that's...
But if you do get it, though, it is good.
Yes.
Like, I'm not... It's just, like I said, if you're fine with the price...
Right.
And you don't... Even if you just link it with your PS5 if you already have one,
right,
you play it off of that, that works fine.
It's still great.
No issues with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I bought this over a Steam Deck because I'm still concerned with, like, my arthritis in my hands, that the Steam Deck is going to be too heavy for me to use, number one, like, in bed. The battery life is better, but still, like, kind of not super great.
Depends on what you're playing, though, too.
Exactly.
Was kind of my issue. It's like if you're playing something intensive on the Steam Link, you're getting like 2-3 hours.
Right.
Whereas with the Portal, it's always 8 hours.
Right.
No matter what.
Right. So
I pros and cons.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you have a Steam Deck and you should be using the solutions over there, but if you're like Nimp and I and you want to play something while you're either in bed or your TV's being used or something like that, it still is a really good solution. And it's just a DualSense controller with a giant screen in the middle. Like that to me, that's the plus of it. So yeah.
Now
cool.
I'm just waiting for them to pull a Wii U and allow me to play, with my big tablet controller with my big touch screen.
Right.
And I'm just gonna play. I don't even know what on there.
Yeah, I don't.
I can have the
Odyssey.
my radar. Yeah, I can have my radar from Call of Duty on my Portal while I'm playing on the big screen.
Quiet. You can see what Quiet sees on your Portal, and then
there you go. Yeah, hit that guy and that guy and that guy.
That's right. Next game here, Destiny 2. Act 2 of Episode 2 started this past week. Gonna come in here and tell you, I know this is a shocker, the story was pretty short. So good so far. Really cool cutscene happened, which is really great. Incredible music, which is impressive because they fired almost all that team. I'm not going to belabor the point. It's exactly kind of as short and as expected as the last one was. So if you listened then or if you're playing, it's largely the same. Again, not really a positive or a negative. It's fine. It's okay. There's a new activity here called Tomb of Elders. It's a kind of reprisal of the fan favorite Prison of Elders mode from Destiny 1. And it really is kind of like a small combat arena that you're doing an objective in, and then there's kind of a challenge above and beyond that to like defeat enemies with a Scorch Cannon or kill enemies with supers and abilities or get headshots with heavy weapons while you're doing this stuff, things like that. And then you're essentially completing laps. So you do like one combat arena, you do a traversal thing, you do another combat arena, you do a traversal thing with enemies, and then you get to a boss area. Once you beat the boss, then you get loot. If you're playing the base version of Tomb of Elders, that's where the run ends. You just do one lap. If you're playing, I think it's called Challenge of Elders, is the more difficult version, then that can go, I believe, 3 laps. So, and it gets more difficult as you kind of go. There's also another, like, Warden's Favor sort of thing. I'm not going to get into it. It's essentially, the better you do and the faster you do these mechanics, and all of the mechanics, not just the base one, but also the challenge ones, the faster you can progress through laps. So if you do really well on your first lap, you skip a bunch of stuff on the second lap because you're doing really well. And I think that's a cool approach to it, because for a lot of these activities, for people that are, and there's a little bit of baked in grace here for, like, if you're a new player or maybe you're not very good, then it's not going to punish you. You just move through it a little bit slower. But if you are an okay player, then you're going to skip, like, the introductory mission. You're going to skip this whole sort of thing on subsequent laps. I think that's really cool, especially as I'm playing a lot of Onslaught Salvation, which is, like, cool. If you could cut a lot of this kind of extra stuff around the edges to make these runs go a little bit faster, that would be really great. So, seems pretty neat. Seems like a really cool activity. I haven't played a ton of it. I'm playing Onslaught Salvation, like I said, because those triumphs require a lot more runs for that, and the triumphs for Tomb of Elders doesn't require nearly as much. So, it's cool. It's neat. I like it. Destiny 2. Yay! Next up, played just a smidge of Metaphor ReFantazio. I am knee deep in a dungeon back to some, like, mine that I'm going back to the big city for.
Oh yeah.
I played, like, maybe half an hour. I did get introduced to very much like the Persona 5 system. When you start both of those games, Metaphor and Persona 5, it's like, hey, do you want to enable online features? And you're like, yeah, okay, sure, whatever. It's a single-player RPG. What do I care? This one has a really interesting thing that once you start unlocking jobs, like the job system, when you are preparing to go into a dungeon, you touch the touchscreen or the touchpad on the PS5, and it shows you the party composition and levels of a bunch of people that just cleared that dungeon. So basically it shows like 12 different parties. The beginning of the game, you only have like 3 jobs, so there's not a lot of options there. But there's even an option there where you can pick one of those parties and apply that setup to your party. So like if you see like, oh, everybody's using these 3 jobs, I'm just going to copy that for my party. I think that's pretty cool. So yeah. It's pretty neat of just like, I like that there's a little bit of minor assistance instead of like, all right, I'm going to go to GameFAQs, I'm going to search this thing. What's the best party for the... You know, like, you don't have to do that. It's just like, hey, everybody beat it with this party. Just go use that. So that's cool. I like that.
Will be until you choose the guy by accident who decided they needed a challenge. And
right, exactly. How did they do this? Yeah. So I'm enjoying a lot of it. I'm kind of enjoying the just getting an opportunity to go through a dungeon and just fight a bunch of enemies. That has been great. It's the part of every JRPG I like where you get that first real dungeon where they're just like, yeah, get in here, man. Like, the training wheels are off, at least for a little bit. Just go nuts. Let's just go do a dungeon. So
nothing's gonna outright kill you, but you can't test it, you know?
Right, yeah. So it still continues to be really great. I have to sit down and get more dedicated time. I was going to do that this week, and then Life is Strange Double Exposure turned out to be a much bigger game than I expected. So, also, now I have to play through it again because of the platinum. There's one trophy in there. Super sucks. It's a spoiler what it is. God, come on, man. Don't do that again. Sucks, man.
Was it something you could have gotten in one run, or is it something that would have been a 2?
You have to do it in 2 completely fresh runs.
Oh, that sucks.
Yes.
No other Life is Strange game has ever done it.
No. It's usually like collect all the collectibles in Chapter 1. Take all the photos in Chapter 2. Oh, you watered the plants.
These plants.
Yeah, like you gotta... It's all the normal stuff. All right, last game here. Lego Horizon Adventures. I don't really like this game.
That sucks.
To just kind of put it bluntly, so part of my frustration is in how the levels are kind of structured. So, number one, feedback continues. There's too much talking. Please, just let me play the video game. Look, the Horizon games are guilty of that. I will be honest about that, as much as I really like the Horizon games. But when the Horizon games kind of let you into the open world, it's usually basically like, yeah, you want to hunt down like beavers to make a bigger wallet or whatever? Knock yourself out, man. Here's the next city for you to go to. Just, I'll see you when I see you. There's too much talking in these, and one of my bigger problems in the game is when you start the game, there's only one level open, and there are 6 levels within that one area, which means you're going to the same point on the map, like in the Mother's Heart hub map. You're going to the same point to load the same mission that starts in the same place, and then like a couple of screens later diverges into another area that you go through for maybe like 2 or 3 screens, and then you usually like you're saving all the Nora citizens in this first area, so it's like basically 6 levels of that. When you find the cage of Nora citizens, you'll fight either like a boss, which does way more health than it should in a really frustrating way. I'm playing on normal. Or you have to fight a couple of waves of machines, and then you'll get a quick cutscene, and everybody will be like, yay, Aloy saving me, hooray! And then a gold brick drops from the sky, and then you're done. And then you rinse and repeat that with another mission of starting in the same spot, traversing 2 or 3 screens, fighting a boss or some waves, gold brick, and then rinsing and repeating for those 6 levels. It's really frustrating because, again, like I was talking about last week, it is hard, and I have stopped feeling guilty about this. It's hard not comparing this to the Traveler's Tales games, because part of the fun of those games was you're going through a level, and they weren't always super long, but I felt like they were lengthy enough. But you'd see the branches as you were going through of like, oh, I need whatever these red category of characters are over here. Oh, I bet it's the dark side characters. Okay, cool. I'll come back in free play. Great. Or like, oh, here's like, it's a sign that has a Yoda on it. Okay, I don't have Yoda yet. Okay, I got to come back for that. Like, you can see all these possibilities for you to go back through and run back through this stuff that don't appear in this, because any additional pathways I'm taking in this are sort of like, oh, you're going to climb down this cliff face, you find a treasure chest that gives you like 300 studs, and you're going to climb back up, and you're back on the path, and that's really it. So that the whole thing just feels kind of frustrating, because the storytelling, there's too much storytelling, and there is the gameplay that's there feels fine, but using the bow and arrow like at least at the beginning of the game, it kind of like doesn't shoot as far as you would really want it to, and none of these levels are open enough. Like Torek in chat has the point here. A big part is Zero Dawn and the second game. Like it doesn't, that exploration and pathfinding are a big part of the game. I agree. So like when you take this like Final Fantasy 13 level of just like follow the path, let's do it. Like, and I love Final Fantasy 13. That's not a dig at it too much. Yeah. But like when you turn it into the kind of direct straight path, it just kind of doesn't feel great to play. And I'm now picking up like gadgets, they call them, which are basically like one-time use or like limited ammo use of like, this is a flame arrow, or I'm using a frost bomb, or a dude with a hot dog cart throws exploding hot dogs, because it's still like a Lego silly thing. But even those are just sort of like, okay, I'm going to use them 2 or 3 times, and then I still have 5 Nora warriors and then 3 machines to fight, so didn't really do anything for me. So yeah, the whole thing is just really frustrating in a way that I wasn't expecting out of a Lego thing, because even if you're not Traveler's Tales making a Lego game, I feel like after 76 of those games, that's kind of the formula at this point that I expect and really do enjoy. So to diverge from that isn't inherently bad, but to make it something like this, where it's just this straightforward, like,
so
follow the path.
Do you think
thing.
Like it's missing that Telltale charm? Like me, it doesn't have any charm.
I think it does actually have quite a bit of charm, because they're having fun with the Horizon storyline and stuff like that. But I think one of the things they're missing with it is the brevity of it. The Lego, like those Lego cutscenes were at most like 30 seconds long. Most of them were 15 seconds long. Of like, oh no, the planet black, I'm gonna get you. And then like that was basically it. Some of the like Lord of the Rings and the wizarding school stuff we don't talk about, like those ones had longer ones because they're basically cutting the stuff from the movies. Yeah. But like there's just multiple lines and lines of Aloy and somebody else talking. It's like, yeah, like let's keep going. Like let's keep moving with this stuff. So I just think it's a miss on everything so far. That's not fair. I think graphically it looks pretty solid. It really does look interesting in a way that I think some of the Traveler's Tales stuff didn't necessarily. Some of the later stuff looked really good. But I so far I think this is just kind of a miss overall. I'm going to still keep playing it because it looks like it's around 6 hours is about where people are finishing it, which is also really short. So I'll probably see it through to the end, but I'm not sure if I'm not sitting down and be like, all right, let's fire up Lego Horizon Adventures. I'm itching to get back in there. That's not really, unfortunately, that's not really what's happening. So it's a bummer. I think they had a pretty cool opportunity to make a really great game here, and they just kind of didn't. So, and I will admit, again, like I usually say with these games, they are definitely kids games. So I'm not inherently the target market, but I didn't always feel that way with the Traveler's Tales stuff, and I definitely feel like that with this. Yeah. So just a bummer, but I'll hopefully finish it here soonish, and then have my kind of final thoughts here. So we'll see. Future weeks. But that's all I'm playing this week. Let's take a break.
Yep.
All right. Let me make sure I have...
Be right back.
Okay. Make sure I have my show notes open. There they are. get all the cool stuff. Let me check if there's any late breaking news stories. RPG Gamer just posted their review for Metaphor ReFantazio. Let's see what we got here. 5 out of 5. Wow. Dang. Good for you.
I will say, I got to the end of that game and I did not feel the standard JRPG rush of, can we just end this and get it done with?
Right, like that wasn't the last dungeon? This one's even bigger? Come on.
Yeah, I actually felt like I could have played more. I'm glad they stopped it where they did. They did what they needed to do. We got in. 80 hours later, we got out.
Right.
And I'm fine with that. But I'm like, man, I might do New Game Plus at some point, just because there is that one hidden boss that I kind of want to check out.
Yeah.
And I want to do the other stuff in the final dungeon that makes that final boss easier.
Oh yeah, because you did the harder version. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Torque in chat says removing exploration for the sake of making it family friendly doesn't fly anymore though. Children have high skill ceilings, but they don't really have answer ceilings anymore thanks to the internet. Yeah, that's a really good point, because I think haven't talked about it in a while. We talk about this sometimes in critical misses of I feel like there's always this feedback of like, well, this thing's for kids or this thing's for stoners, so like it doesn't really need to be good. Like, what do they care? And kids do care. Like you can't just turn out a bunch of trash because it just has like a Ninja Turtles name on it. Like, they're gonna play it and be like, no, I could be playing a million other things that are really good. This isn't the only, like, I've been playing Minecraft for 5 years. Like, I could keep playing that. I don't need this game here. So
And kind of like what you said earlier too, it's like if they play this game and it doesn't click, well, guess what? There's 70 other Lego games that you could play instead. So
yeah, it's really, I meant to look at what studio made that. Let me open up the IGDB. Right. Ugh, stupid IGDB. Main developer was Guerrilla Games with Studio Gobo. Who's Studio Gobo?
I'm actually on their main site right now.
Oh, they just made a piece of DLC for it.
Yeah, they haven't done a ton so far.
So this is Guerrilla Games for real?
Because my thought that I was trying to figure out was, are they going... Wow, Gobo actually works with a ton of people. Guerrilla, Ubisoft, WB Games, Disney, Pixar.
So they're like a sword for hire studio.
Yeah, Disney, Microsoft, Marvel, Hasbro. Yeah,
man, good
Bethesda, Sony. Because I was sitting here thinking, oh, apparently they did the Magic Academy game that we don't talk about, Legacy, and Redfall. Ooh, okay. Hyperspace.
They're working on everything.
Yeah, Synced Off Planet. Project Showcase. Oh no, that's just a thing they're in. Their Project Showcase 2021. Hey, there you go. And For Honor. What was I gonna say? Oh, I was wondering if, because as you were talking about playing a Lego version of Horizon, I was like, I wonder if we're gonna start seeing like Sony first party. Hey, here's a game, and then a couple years later, here's a Lego version of that game.
Right, like putting out the kind of more family friendly E10 version of the game. Well, and like, I probably wouldn't put it past them, and it's probably not a bad idea from like a business perspective. It's just like, it's interesting, especially for Guerrilla, because they finished Forbidden West, and if the rumors are to be believed, they're working on a multiplayer, like massively multiplayer live service Horizon game, which I think almost negative people want. That's not
Yeah.
I'm not even interested in that on paper. Like, you tell me that Remedy is making a like 3-player co-op control game, yep, I'll play that. That's for sure. You tell me I can play a multiplayer Horizon game? No. I'm okay. Like I'm not. I'm pretty okay.
Yeah, especially when you throw in that it's supposed to be, it's probably going to be, a service game,
Right.
and it's probably something that is going to hurt Gorilla if it doesn't do really well.
Exactly.
And
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's just
apparently
really...
this group also did Disney Infinity 4.0, 3.0, 2.0, and 1.0, which is Pirates of the Caribbean, Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy, Star Wars Rise Against the Empire, and the Moana Disney Infinity stuff.
That seems like... I've never heard of the studio before, but that seems like a really interesting studio of just like, hey, you need someone to come in and just knock out some DLC for you? We're the peeps. And it's like, that's a really interesting way to position your company of just like, we can work on your game and we'll keep the DLC train rolling. That's interesting.
F1 2012 with Codemasters. I mean, I would assume that would have to be something for like them. Yeah, okay. Like I'm trying to figure out like the business model for that, because it's like, okay, yeah, you just released your game, and instead of putting your resources into doing DLC for the game, okay, let's give these guys, let's hire these guys on as contractors. We're like, you release one DLC for our game while our group continues to work on our next whatever.
Right. Or like next big expansion.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like that. I wonder how many studios actually do that.
It's probably more than we realize.
That's what I'm sitting here trying to figure out. It's like, it probably is fairly common.
Yeah.
But it's just, you just don't see a whole lot of extra studios anymore, with everyone being bought out and then closed and...
Yeah, exactly. Or like Nix's, where Sony is like, hey, you're doing some incredible PC ports, we're just going to buy you, and you're going to do all of our PC ports.
Yeah.
It's still very smart.
Yeah, but then, they have one bad day, and you're like, well, that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. I mean, that's the concern for a lot of these big publishers now, is just the patience for some of this stuff seems really low.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you have to earn back what we just bought you for, and it's like, that's not a good investment.
Right. I mean, it's just like Netflix dumped one of the studios they purchased to make original games for them because their game was taking too long to make. It's like, yeah, movies can take a couple of months to make and they're done. Some games are going to take years and then they will maybe be done. Like they're different scales here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's frustrating. Oh, here we go. Top 25 upcoming indie games in 2025. Yeah, okay. They're opening up with the Hollow Knight sequel. Come on. Come on, man. Come on. Let's be honest here. I would love for it to come out too, but like I have taken the approach with Silk Song of just like, I'm gonna forget that it exists, and it will probably be released suddenly one day, and then I can get excited about it once I am on the title screen.
Yeah.
But
once you've purchased it and you have a live game in your hands.
Right, like, but other than that, like, it's such a small studio, and they seem like they're kind of perfectionists about this stuff, which is great because Hollow Knight is an incredible game. But like, you can't let yourself be driven crazy by waiting for something that you don't have a release date for.
Yeah. I don't know. The whole gaming industry is just super weird and obnoxious.
Yeah.
I'm kind of getting tired of it.
Yeah, I'm getting kind of tired of the like, of especially publishers. Like, I'm really tired of the Square Enix thing of like, wouldn't you know it, it failed to meet sales expectations. It's like, yeah, where have I heard that before? Yep. And it just seems like so many publishers are doing that now of just like, yeah, it sold 2 million copies, but like, God, it took like 3 months to do that. How could they? It's like, is that, oh, that's bad? Come on, man. Like, I'd be happy to sell 2 million of anything. Sheesh.
But especially with Microsoft and Sony, it's like you guys have been in long enough to know how long it takes to make a game.
Right.
Like, I don't know why you're all of a sudden surprised that, oh yeah, we're 3 years into this game, and it's just not there yet.
Right.
Yeah, because you want it to be a $70 4K,
live service.
Yeah.
It's really interesting too, because like Redfall sort of failed for a large number of reasons, but like it's really interesting to see them sticking with Avowed. Like there was another big press junket about that this past week, and I'm just like, I keep forgetting about Avowed, where I'm still surprised. Like, look, I love Obsidian, but I'm really surprised that Microsoft's like, yeah, just keep working on it. Just keep working on Avowed.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep clipping away on that. It's like, oh, okay, sure, yeah.
I think that sucks for that too. Is that Patrick Klepek on Remap Radio played something of that recently, some version of Avowed.
I subscribed to his Substack, I think, and I read some of his impressions over there too.
Mm-hmm. He's like, it's okay.
It's fine. Like, that seems to be the... I think I saw one place, I think it might have been Kotaku, that was like, this could be Game of the Year next year. And everywhere else is basically like, it's okay. It's like a little bit boring, but it's also the beginning of a open world RPG. So like,
yeah,
those are kind of boring usually. So it seems like either it's the game is fine overall, or maybe it wasn't the best like slice of that game to show off. I'm not sure.
Yeah. What did you think of Outer Worlds?
I liked Outer Worlds a lot. I'm excited for the second one because I think that first game was fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited to see them take like all of that feedback and all that criticism that came out of the first one and hopefully make the second one like even better.
What do you think of it, Moon? Did you play Outer Worlds?
That was the anti-capitalist Fallout.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I got full game score on that one.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I enjoyed it as well, and I hope that they keep it as short as they did, because that was the other selling point. Is okay, it's a Fallout game or it's a a Scrolls type game, but it's not 100 hours of investment.
Yeah, I'm out in like 20 hours.
Yeah.
It's
like doing everything in that game, because after a while, it's like with Skyrim and Fallout 4, it's like after a while you're just getting the same crap over and over again. Like, this didn't need to have this many side quests and stuff, because half of them didn't even pay off.
Yeah.
So,
and usually by that point I'm like, I don't even want to see the ending, because I'm like, I'm done at this point.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
All right, are you guys ready to do this other part?
Yup.
Sure.
All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of November 25th, 2024. Happy Turkey Day in the US, by the way. 9 Souls comes out. PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series consoles, and Switch. This is SOLS, 9 Souls. This came out about 6 months ago on PC. People really loved this. I feel like as soon as people really started digging into it, the thing I kept hearing was like, hey, you need to make sure you don't miss this game, because it is kind of a surprise hit on the level of something like Hollow Knight when it came out, where it's like, this is a really cool, very special thing that you should check out and play. So this is a 2D side-scrolling kind of like Metroidvania Souls thing that seems really, really cool. It's Red Candle Games. I've been waiting to play this for a while. I didn't really want to play it on PC, and I didn't have the time earlier. But now that's coming to consoles, I really want to check this out. This is supposed to be really great. So, 9 Souls. Check that out. Other game here that came out this week, there's a ton of like really small not super incredible looking releases. Raven's Watch comes out early access on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Series consoles. This is by Pastech Games. They made Curse of the Dead Gods. We played this on We Roguelike It last year, 2 years ago. I don't remember. And we liked it well enough. But this is like a co-op kind of isometric roguelike, kind of like a hack and slash roguelike with classes. And it seems to have this interesting risk reward system from when I remember when Northern Lion was playing the early access version, of kind of like you're pushing as far as you can before night falls, and when that happens, either the world is changing or your character is changing, and those aren't always positive things. So it seems real neat, and I'm really, people seem to like it in early access. It had the usual kind of early access criticisms of like, well, there's not much there to play yet, but what you have there seems pretty good. So I'm really curious to see, now that it's coming out in 1.0, you know, how has the entire thing been fleshed out? So
yeah.
And I liked Curse of the Dead Gods well enough, but I think
it was solid. Where I think it had its. It was way deeper than you thought it was, but it was way difficult to get to that depth.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things we discovered was like, there seems to be a lot here, but boy, this game is happy to be difficult, which is okay for some games, but that doesn't always jive with We Roguelike It, where we're kind of only playing it for a month. That can be challenging overall. So Raven's Watch seems like one to keep an eye on for and see how reviews turn out. So, and maybe we'll add it to the list at some point. Who knows? All right, that's all the releases. We have a couple of news stories here this week. First up, we talked about the PS Portal having the ability to stream stuff from the cloud directly to the device. Xbox has gotten their own system for doing sort of the other side of the coin for them. Xbox.com/play, you now stream a select number of games that you own. It's about 50 games right now that are not on Game Pass. So if you have like Assassin's Creed Mirage, I don't know if that's on Game Pass, and you own it and you want to stream that to some other device and it's not on Game Pass, you can do that at this point. The only twist about it is you can't stream those games to an Xbox console at the moment, but Xbox says that's going to be coming up next year. So curious to see how this kind of gets fleshed out, because this seems like this is kind of filling the last gap here in Xbox's streaming solution of, hey man, yeah, I have Game Pass, sure, and I've got, you know, Game Pass Ultimate, whatever, which I think you need Game Pass Ultimate to do this streaming, it looks like. But I have these like 5 games over here that aren't on Game Pass. I kind of want to do that whole thing with these games too. So it's nice to see that they're finally getting that. They've been talking about it for a while, but it's nice to see that they're finally getting that working here at this point. So, yay. Next news. Go ahead.
Yay.
Next news story here. Remedy casually mentions in an investor call, Control 2 is going to be an action RPG. That's kind of all we know. There's a really great set of slides here that came out of this investor call. They're talking about Firebreak, which is the Control PvE shooter that they're working on, and they're talking about like it's a PvE shooter, it's a mid-price game, it's not going to be a full-price game. They're talking about how many sales they need for ROI, etc., etc. And they list Control 2 here. So it's AAA game price point, needs 3 to 4 million copies lifetime for 100% ROI, and it's an action RPG. And moving on, it's like, sorry, wait, what? They have a little bit of stuff here about like the fans are excited. They have a strong existing fan base waiting for the game, and they talk a little bit about sales numbers for Control. Control has 4.5 million units sold, which is incredible, especially for Remedy, who's always kind of struggled to sell something of a larger number like that after kind of Max Payne 1 and 2, even as well as Alan Wake did. And then they have
I think Alan Wake 2 just became a break even. Like they
I think I
just
saw
got
that
to
news
the point
story,
where they made up their money for
Yeah.
making it. And spoiler alert, Alan Wake 2 is on sale right now for 50% off, which is the Ultimate Edition, including all of the DLC.
I should probably go buy that. But I really like, there's this slide that they have of like, here's the FBC Firebreak, which seems to be the final title for this. A session-based co-op shooter. It has like 3 silhouettes standing behind a controller. They have Control. This is a focused action-adventure RPG. It has like a stick figure doing like a Matrix move where they're dodging a bullet. And then it says Alan Wake Survival Horror, and it just has a ghost. Just like, it looks like a Pac-Man ghost. And it's like, you know what?
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, sure. So I think that's really interesting.
The problem I have here is with the definitions
Exactly.
of it. Because arguably, Control was an action RPG.
That was going to be the thing
tree,
I was going to come in here and say.
It had experience points.
Yep.
It had everything. Why is everybody so confused? Control is
Right.
an action RPG.
Yeah, I have seen people be like, oh well, so they're sort of doing the inverse that the Yakuza series is doing. I was like, no, I don't think you're not going to fire up Control 2, and it's like, okay, here's how to take turns around the map, and you have this many move tiles, and then you get to do your action phase. It's like, that's not. I'm going to expect, and I will be very surprised if Control 2 isn't going to function largely the same as Control did. Like, Remedy's not stupid.
Yeah.
You're not going to fire up Control 2 and all of a sudden it's into the Breach 2, where you're like, wait, what did you guys do? Like,
we were talking about the Metal Gear Acid series Friday night, so if they made like a Control Acid series...
All right, now I'm selling me, yeah.
Federal Bureau of Acid?
Yeah, there you go. But Moon, you're entirely right. Like, I think people... The lines between genres has gotten so blurred, especially over the last couple generations, that, like, yeah, Control is a shooting action RPG. Like you said, it has XP, you're gathering stuff to craft items, you have a skill tree,
side quests.
Yeah, like it has all of that stuff. It's just
you're not putting points directly into attributed
right.
values.
Where's
and,
my MP? Like,
yeah,
roll for initiative, Jesse. But like, it doesn't have any of that stuff. But that doesn't mean it's not an action RPG. So it's been interesting because I don't think people have been freaking out about it as much as I have been expecting people to. But I think there's been a lot of people that have been like quietly amused of like, okay, you're gonna make it an action RPG, sure, I'll just whatever you're gonna do, I'm there for it. So, which is kind of exciting for Remedy of like, yeah, you've earned my trust at this point. Whatever you're gonna make, I'm just gonna buy it. Let's do it. Like, just take my $70. Let's do this. And last news story here, just a real quick one. Sony is in talks to buy the company Kadokawa, who is the owner of the parent company of From Software, along with a bunch of other stuff like Spike Chunsoft and Acquire. Acquire just made Mario and Luigi Brothership. And Spike Chunsoft, I think they're largely working on kind of the AI series, like the Somnium files and those stuff. They published Danganronpa, but who knows? Hopefully that series is still dead. So I saw a really wild article that's like, who cares about the ending of Danganronpa V3? I think they should still be making games. I was like, you should probably go finish that game again then. The game very explicitly is giving people like you a middle finger in a very fourth wall breaking way, which is still really good.
Yep.
But this is really interesting because I didn't realize until this article here from Silicon Era, Sony already has a 2% stake in Kadokawa and a 14.09% stake in From Software. I don't think I realized either one of those. It seems very much like the crown jewel of buying this would be From Software, who would be, I think, a pretty interesting get. I think especially after Elden Ring, a pretty big get, and Armored Core 6 did really well as well. I don't want to forget that. But I think you very much want to buy the studio that's going to make the next From Software game, whatever that's going to be, and try and get in on the ground floor of whatever probably multi-million selling game is going to come out of them. So
yeah, but I see a lot of things that I see that people kind of miss. Is like, yeah, they've got From Software, but Kadokawa is also like a really big firm.
Yes.
So they do a lot with like realtors,
right,
and commercial spaces.
I think they do.
And they own anime stuff, so this would be more for Sony to roll into Crunchyroll.
Oh god,
since they bought out Funimation.
No, cancel the sale.
Like, there's a lot coming out of this, and as I said in the Discord already, I am not a huge fan of this buyout.
No.
Potential.
Right.
Just because everyone's already on board. It's like, oh, this is how we get Dark Souls or Bloodborne 2. And it's like, no, this is not how you get that.
You get Bloodborne 2 when they want to make Bloodborne 2, man. Which probably isn't going to happen.
Also, all it takes is their next Souls-like game not hit. Like Elden Ring did really well.
Yeah.
That is not generally how Souls games buy. Souls games are not usually big games that everyone purchases.
Right.
It's just, for some reason, Elden Ring clicked with way more people than they normally do.
Yeah.
So if they make more of those, cool. But like, I'm more worried about them being like, all right, Dark Souls 4 came out and it didn't do great, so now we shuttered the studio.
As of June 2024, Elden Ring has sold an estimated 25 million units. First 2 weeks of sale sold 12 million units worldwide. That's bananas. That's way more than any Souls-like game should ever be selling.
I mean, the funny thing for me personally in this is they have done something very much like Sega have with the Yakuza franchise. Is they made a series of games that very slowly and naturally built that audience.
Yeah.
And the thing that both Microsoft and Sony seem to forget is that's how you build the audience.
Yeah, exactly.
You do it slowly. It's repeated. It's game over game over game, getting better every time until you hit that moment where you get the 25 million sales.
Right.
And then they can afford to stumble. They can afford to stutter and have a game that maybe doesn't sell as well because they're not beholden to anyone really.
Well, look at the Outer Worlds that we were talking about. That first one sold fairly well, reviewed fairly okay, but that's one of the things where it's like, okay, now you're going to make a second one? I'm really curious to see what that second one... Would you get the time and the investment and all of that in it? What can you do now?
And so, I just pulled up Dark Souls 3. That is generally the community... Everyone agrees this is the better Souls game to pick up.
Okay.
Game released in 2015, sold 8.5... million units.
Okay.
So
a quarter or a third of Elden Ring.
2019, 4 years later, finally sold 25,000. But this is also 25 million. Sorry.
Okay.
But this is also around that time where Twitch started taking off and Mixer started taking
off.
So people started streaming Souls games.
All the Souls games.
Since 2019 to 2020, it finally went up to 27 million.
Wow. That's huge.
So that's 5 years of what everyone considers to be the better Souls games. Finally hits what Elden Ring did in what'd you say?
Year.
As of
in a year.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this during the break of Square or Sony and Microsoft. Square is a whole different problem. Sony and Microsoft have had way less patience for a game selling slowly or stumbling, or a studio having a bad game, or a game that reviews, heaven help us, a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, seriously.
Would a Sony owned From Software survive Dark Souls 2? I'm not entirely sure. Dark Souls 2 was basically seen as like, no, you made a bad one. Like, a Dark Souls 2 Defenders, I get it. But like,
I don't know if a Microsoft owned From Software would survive Elden Ring.
yeah, exactly.
But that's what I'm saying, is that's why I'm not like, everyone's like, oh, this is great. And it's like,
It's not.
We have a proven track record in the last 4 years that this is not going to potentially turn out well.
From last year with the Activision Microsoft stuff, like, that has been largely bad for the industry as a whole. Like, it's just it's concerning. And you're right, like, Kadokawa is a big company that is well diversified. And maybe Sony only wants, the anime and the game portion of it. Yeah. There's been a quick statement here from the CEO of Kadokawa that says, quote, "If there are any facts that should be announced in future, we will make an announcement in a timely and appropriate manner," end quote. It's basically like, hey, nerds, leave me alone. I'm running a giant conglomerate. Like, I don't have to answer your Twitter DMs. Leave me alone. So we'll see, but I know From Software is kind of, like I said, the crown jewel of a lot of this stuff, but there's a lot of other stuff in here. Spike Chunsoft have been around for 30 years or something.
Yeah.
They've developed and published so much stuff. So you're getting maybe not the biggest companies. Like, Spike Chunsoft has never been the biggest video game developer and publisher, but they're steady, and they make a lot of niche titles. Like, hey, you want some visual novels? You got Spike Chunsoft. That sort of thing. So we'll see. After the Microsoft Activision Blizzard thing, I don't know if I want any more of this stuff. So pump the brakes.
Again, though, when Sega bought Atlas, I was back then too. I don't like this.
Right.
But so far, they've been doing fine.
True.
So maybe this worked. But unfortunately, like we just said, there's a proven track record that this is going to go south, and it's not going to be great, and it's going to suck.
Right. Yeah. So I hope...
I just don't have that hope anymore.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what Kadokawa thinks overall of the purchase. We don't know the numbers or anything because we're not investors or anything. But we'll see over the next couple of weeks how that shakes out, I guess. Hopefully for the best for everybody involved, I think.
I mean, maybe Kadokawa just turns around and buys Sony Entertainment.
That's right. Haha.
Who knows?
I activated my reverse card.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's all of our news stories this week, which means we're at the end of our episode. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page. Please come join the Discord server, discord.tvgp.tv. Should take you where you need to go. It is a small community, but the best community on the internet. Everybody's super cool over there. We're just talking about a whole bunch of cool stuff. We have a bunch of really great channels. Again, we're not one of those. I just closed 2 channels this past week. We're not one of those channels that's like, all right, you have to post in the exact right channel, and there's 400 of them, and if you get it wrong, you would get banned. I don't care. Just be cool. Follow the rules. We have some very explicit rules over there, especially around hey, don't be transphobic, don't be racist, don't be hateful. Be a decent human being. In general, but especially when you're in the Discord server.
Yeah, you can come over and talk Pokemon with us, because that's back on the radar after 25 years.
Yeah, talk about the trading card game, Pocket.
Yeah.
Come chat with us over there. Don't forget the YouTube channel. There's a video version of everything that hits the public feed over there. So if you want to watch us talk for almost an hour and a half about Life is Strange Double Exposure and spoil a lot of Life is Strange stuff, you can go check that out over there. Don't forget, of course, patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones and numbers.
$5 tier is the recommended tier. That gets you everything. Anything above and beyond that is greatly appreciated. Please tell your rich friends I would like to pay for more stuff, like our mortgages. That would be really great.
Yes, please.
So, yeah, I don't like... I don't like Jeff Bezos, but I will take his money to pay our mortgages. So check that out over there. If you can't support us financially, totally understand. Go like, comment, subscribe on the YouTube videos. That helps a whole lot. Go check out the live streams here. Come chat with us. We like chatting with all of you. And go rate and review the podcast on whatever podcatcher you can. Like we've been talking about, that stuff really, really, really does help. We greatly appreciate all of that. And we greatly appreciate you listening to the show. Thank you so much. We'll see you all next week. Bye.
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 Oh, man. Okay. Nimp, what are your titles?
I have Fake Guile File. No Thanksgiving Here. Prolific Achievement Hunter. And Not Ideal Controls.
Okay, Moon, what do you have?
I have with laughter and swearing, turn off the porch light, nominal difficulty, the true heresy, the might of the hammer, water these plants, and the FBA.
I thought it was anger and swearing. I have laughter and swearing, fake guile, turn off the turkey light, and roll for initiative, Jesse. Anyone's that are standing out?
I mean, I still laugh at the roll for initiative one,
I
but
feel
that's
like I
just
should
because
put
I'm a nerd.
A check mark next to that one.
Yeah,
Put that on the
there you go.
short list. I think that's the most standout one for me. I like fake guile, but I don't know if that's as punchy as
No,
initiative.
roll for initiative is fine.
Circle in. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Oh. Moon has his thinking face
I'm
on.
ready.
Oh, okay.
I'm ready.
All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 892 for November 25th, 2024. Roll for initiative, Jesse.
You need at least a 10 to bind this object of power.
That attack roll isn't high enough to get past the defense of the hiss.
Love it. 2 thumbs up. All right. Thank you very much,
Another with
everyone, for
dogs.
listening and watching. We do greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. We hope we'll see you next week. Bye.